Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration, here to inspire, enlighten, and build up humanity. And that humanity is you, my 1,420 subscribers. Thank you for joining us here. I'm glad you're here. And I'm just passing on some of the wisdom I've learned in life, some of the hard-earned wisdom I've learned in life, just like my mentor passed on to me. One day when I was over at his house crying about this girl that left me, I was so brokenhearted, I didn't think I was going to survive. He helped me that day and helped me to realize that it really wasn't that important, although I didn't grasp that till later on. But at the end of the conversation, I felt better. And he said to me, "You feel better, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I do." He kind of laughed and he said, "Well, when you get big and strong like me, you're going to pass this on to other people like I've passed it on to you." And that's what I'm doing here today, passing things on to you. But what struck me today, the topic, before we begin, hit that like button. Do it now or you'll forget, just like I do. I do it all the time. I'll watch a video, I really like it, and I forget to hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm here on YouTube. It shows YouTube that some people like my content and to post it more or run it more, whatever. So do that. Check out my books on Amazon, Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, and The Power Is Within. And I'm working on a third book, which I only write on when I travel. And I was going to travel out to see Afi Kingdom. I had the flight, but when I got to the airport, it was next month. Yeah, how did I do that? Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. And you can check me out on Instagram if you're watching this on YouTube at Mark's Inspiration. Our podcast is every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This weekend we have Phil Foster's going to be on there. We're going to talk about the importance of fitness, the value of taking care of your body. He's in great shape. He competes in bodybuilding. I think that's what he said. Anyway, we're going to have a good discussion on there. All right, today's topic is going to be learning how to fight. The reason I brought this up is because I'm reading Afi's book, which one? I read several of his now, but I'm reading another one. And he talked about the value of learning how to fight. It gives you a confidence that you can get in no other way. And this is so true, and I've spoken about this myself also here on my channel. There's just something about that. And the reverse of that is true also. If you can't fight, if you can't protect yourself, there's a feeling of insecurity that you get that it permeates, I think that's the word, your whole being. And in reverse of that, when you can fight, that gives you a sense of confidence and security that permeates. Makes you feel better anyway. How about that? Makes you feel more confident about yourself. And that comes out in everything you do. When you talk to people, when you shake a man's hand, when you look in his eye, people can feel that. So it's very important to learn how to fight. I know a lot of you younger guys think that, oh, you don't need to be like that. There was a guy making fun of Andrew Tate because I think maybe some of you saw it, where he said, well, what if you're out, Tate gives this example, what if you're out and 10 guys approach you and, you know, you're with your woman. What are you going to do? Are you going to protect her? You know, you're going to get your ass beat, but are you going to try to protect her? And of course, the other young guy said, oh, well, we'll run. That's what we're going to do. He always gives these extreme examples. And the point of the example is this. Of course, if 10 guys approach you and your woman, they're going to assault her, there's not much you can do, but you can fight, all right? Death before dishonor. Oh, yeah, that sounds ridiculous. And people tell me I'm living back in the 13th century when I say things like that. But if you don't have honor as a man, you ain't got shit. You ain't got shit. I remember when I was young, about 14, between the ages of 13 and 16, I got picked on. I grew up during the 60s, so, and this would be the early 70s, and there was still a lot of that racism going on. And some people would steal my lunch money. And I'm friends with all these guys today, but the blacks and the whites didn't get along too good back then. When I talk to these guys now, we laugh about it. We used to fight each other in the 70s at the dances, and it was just the way it was. And I was very prejudiced. I'm not today. I was then because my father was, and I just picked it up from him. But when I started boxing, I started working out with a lot of guys who were of color, different guys. Hell, they were no different than me. It was fear because I didn't grow up around people. I didn't grow up around these people. They didn't grow up around me. We were all separated, and we all thought we were so different, but we're really very much the same. But the point is, we fought each other, and there's a kind of a camaraderie between us now. I mean, this was years ago when we fought, but I respect these guys. I respect them more than if I hadn't have fought them. So I can't explain that, but there's something to that. And of course, as I was boxing, I worked out with a lot of different people, a lot of different ethnicities, I think, races. We'll say races. And a lot of those guys helped me so much. And there were some jerks, white, black, whatever color they were. I mean, it didn't make any difference. It was the person, the character, the personality of the person. It didn't matter what color they were. And I think highly of those guys to this day. I don't know what happened to a lot of them. I would like to see them. Don't know where they are. But there's something about knowing how to fight, and there's something about fighting other people that creates a bond between those two people. I know that may sound crazy to some of you who have never fought, but it's true. As men, we are warriors. If you look back through our history, we've constantly been warriors. I think maybe some of you young people think we've outgrown this, that it's Neanderthal. But how can you actually think we've outgrown this when, guess what? We're still fighting. We're still having wars as a nation. It may not be touching you because you're not a soldier, but it's still happening. We still have a warring nature. Now, am I telling you to, how do I say, to feed that? No, I'm not. I'm just telling you to learn how to protect yourself and enjoy the benefits of that confidence that comes to you when you can do that. It's not going to kill you to get punched in the face. I've been punched in the face, I don't know, 10,000 times or more, okay? And I'm still beautiful, right? Well, at least I think I am. So, and that's what counts, what you think you are. Because what you think you are is what people see, not what you really are. What's the old saying? What you are speaks so loudly I can't hear what you're saying. Your true identity projects itself from within you. It's not the outer you, it's the inner you. That's why you'll see guys that are, let's say, challenged in the looks department, and they'll be with some beautiful girl. Looks, you do not have to have looks. You do not have to have muscles. These things are an addition. Yes, they'll get your foot in the door, but if you don't have game comes from confidence. And one part of confidence comes from knowing you can handle yourself in any situation. I lived in Guatemala City. No, I had a business in Guatemala City. I lived in the outer town. And it was a very dangerous city. Some of you have heard me speak about it before. Number 8 on the top 10 dangerous cities in the world. But I could walk around that city and feel confident, even though I knew I was a target because I was a gringo. And I saw some people that would be looking at me like they were thinking about robbing me. And what I would do, I would just look directly at them. Maybe they were going to rob me, maybe they weren't, but they didn't. Because I can't say I had no fear, but it was more of an awareness of what is possible, what could happen. But I also knew very well I could protect myself, which I did several times down there. Physically, I had to protect myself. Now, if you live here in the States, and some of you guys live in these, younger guys, live in these neighborhoods with these manicured yards where everything is perfect. I mean, it's like perfect, okay? And you can walk outside anytime. You're not afraid of anything. Nobody's going to steal anything out of your yard. Now, in many parts of the world where I've lived, you can't do that. Nothing is outside of the fence or the wall with the razor barbed wire on top. If it is, it gets stolen. Your house is either in a walled compound with guards and razor wire, or you got bars on your windows and a solid steel door. This is what a lot of the world lives like. you don't even understand that. So in places like this, you have to be very careful, and you need to be able to protect yourself, and you need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. So some of the younger men here in the nation, the U.S., think that it's ridiculous when Tate talks about fighting and protecting his woman and doing things like that, when the reality of it is they don't understand how the rest of the world is, because they've grown up in this bubble of safety, of abundance, of everything they want, everything they need, actually much more than they need, and a lot of things they want. So they don't know the hardships, the hard realities of life. Now, I think we live in a beautiful, wonderful world, but I also recognize the reality of the world. People die every day from murder, wars, diseases, lack of clean water, lack of food, and we don't experience that here in the U.S. So I'm going to stop there. I got to get ready for work. I want to work out before I go, and it's going to be a rough day. But that's what makes a man feel good, is when he puts in a full day. It's not the goal or the destination. We need one, that's important. But the joy truly is in the journey. It's the process. That's where you as a man are going to get your fulfillment from. Not when you get this girl, not when you get that six-figure job, not when you get that muscles, the body that you want. It's none of that. All that is great. That's icing on the cake. But your fulfillment comes from the service, from the value you provide to the world, to humanity. At least that's the way I look at it. All right, I'm out of here. If you want to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com. I can help you if you need some guidance. That's what I like to do. And I'm out of here. Take care.